but honestly, it's the best expo. It's better than the Olympia Expo. And the show to sit as a spectator is easier to watch.
Wow.
Because there's less divisions and there's less people competing.
And they say some things about the Olympia and that, you know, they're not too happy with. So there is a debate going on here now, openly, amongst different factions. You know, you have the Bob Ciccarellos and the Tim Wilkins, and then now you have the Jays and the Milos. And, you know, obviously we all love the Olympia. It's a Super Bowl of bodybuilding. But there seems to be a little tit for tat going on, right? Dan Solomon, maybe he needs to take a look at how to restructure the Olympia. Maybe it needs to be invitational only. I know it would be hard to do that, but, you know, if you're starting to slip down and you have open top icons like, you know, Jay Cutler and Milos saying this, maybe you got to listen. Maybe it's time for a change. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Muscle Discord. And I wanted to chime in on this new Cutler Cast episode that just came out. And the topic is the Arnold versus the Olympia debate. And there's a segment here where Jay is going back and forth with Milos, you know, talking about the Arnold and, you know, comparing it to the Mr. Olympia. And so, you know, I'm going to play the clip. It's about 2 minutes or so long. I'm just going to let them talk. And then, you know, can come back after it. But there's some pretty bold statements made there by Jay and Milos. Okay. And the big statement that Jay Cutler made was that the Arnold Expo is better than the Olympia Expo. You know, he's outright just saying it now. It's not even comparison. Right. And, you know, Milos is saying, you know, Arnold takes care of the athletes like nobody else. Right. And that Arnold is, a class act, you know, first class show. Right. And then they say some things about the Olympia and that, you know, they're not too happy with. So there is a debate going on here now, openly, amongst different factions. You know, you have the Bob Ciccarellos and the Tim Wilkins, and then now you have the Jays and the Milos. And, you know, obviously we all love the Olympia. It's a Super Bowl of bodybuilding. But there seems to be a little tit for tat going on, and you got these camps that are building. It's just my observation. I'm not talking on behalf of Milos or Jay. I'm just observing. This is my opinion. This is what I think. Again, you guys can leave a comment below and give me your opinion on this. This is Muscle Discord. It's a discussion of what's happening in the bodybuilding industry. So I'm going to play the clip, and then we can chime in after. Again, it's kind of long, but bear with me.
To circle now that I do 3 times Arnold Classic champ, because I was the only one to win it 3 times in a row. And I did that because I enjoyed the show so much, because of the invitational. It's the best show because it is, I don't want to say it's organized. It's because it's smaller. You know, there was only 12 guys. It was a lot easier. I felt like, you know, them picking you up, the baskets in your room, the whole experience was great. Being around Schwarzenegger was great. There was always hoop, like I think the back posing room, the back pump-up area was amazing. Columbus, I always questioned why it was the best place, but honestly, it's the best expo. It's better than the Olympia Expo. And the show to sit as a spectator is easier to watch.
Wow.
Because there's less divisions and there's less people competing, if that makes sense.
Yes. And I said that the last time when we were here, Arnold takes care of athletes like nobody else.
Yes.
You know, really, you have almost personal helper to take you to anywhere you want to go, from grocery store to the gym with a pack and the jackets. And I mean, first class show. Production, we had the rehearsals. I don't know, in your time already.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
But
went to the stage,
where you're going to sit, how it's going to turn, which light is going to be on. I mean, really,
I didn't know that.
Because it was important, because I think a lot of it was they knew that a lot of media would cover the events back in that day. I don't know if it's as apparent now.
Well, at that time too, he was younger.
Yes.
He was the #1 box office seller, and he was governor at the same time. So
It was really cool when he would
Eyeballs.
actually, do you remember when they would open the show and you would always get the secret release of the movie he was working on that year, and he would showcase like, this is a film I'm working on, and show scenes of it. So that would be the first scene of like the trailers for the movie. So there's a lot of memories there. Now in today's era, listen, the Olympia in Vegas, the venue definitely doesn't seat it enough people. Okay.
Venue's not big enough.
That's where I think I just saw Dan get on and talked about going to a place like a Madison Square Garden or somewhere that could hold 20,000 people. The problem is, I don't know if you would fill those seats.
1998, we had a Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, a
Olympia.
portion.
Yeah. When Ronnie won first time.
So I think that, I mean, I know of, as of last year, you don't know how many people reached out to me, can you get me tickets? Because there wasn't enough for sale for the men's open. And, and listen, I've had my complaints about the running order of the contest, and I'm still going to stay to that. I mean, obviously they changed it last year, but I guarantee they go back this year because there was some complaints about the place emptying out as soon as the men went on.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where it is there with their comments. And, Jay could, like, I'm sure Dan Solomon was like, man, I wish Jay would say that about the Mr. Olympia Expo. I wish he would say that about us, but he's not. He's saying the opposite of that. And he's also now, still kind of against the order of the events of the Mr. Olympia, and it takes too long. And so I guess they changed it last year. And after the men went on earlier, the audience started to clear out. So Jay is now saying, well, they're probably going to go back to the old way where they keep the men on to the very last. And then they're on the stage like 1 in.the morning so they can keep the audience there. So I think the Olympia is struggling, right? And, Jay's pointing that out. Milos is somewhat pointing that out. That they prefer the production and the quality and how they take care of the athletes over, the experience of the Olympia. Now, obviously, the Arnold is an invitation-only show, and the Olympia isn't. The Olympia has way more divisions, so obviously it's going to run longer. So the Arnold can cater to the athletes a little bit closer than the Olympia can to their athletes. I understand that, but maybe that's something the Olympia has to look at if they want to keep up with the Arnold, right? Dan Solomon, maybe he needs to take a look at how to restructure the Olympia. Maybe it needs to be invitational only. I know it would be hard to do that, but if you're starting to slip down and you have open top icons like, Jay Cutler and Milos saying this, maybe you got to listen. Maybe it's time for a change. I'd love to hear your comments below in regards to this and your thoughts on this. Is the Olympia now overtaking the Mr. Olympia as the Super Bowl of bodybuilding? I want to know. Leave a comment below. Quick one here for you guys. Love to hear your opinions. Remember to like the video and subscribe. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.